What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And I just watched a movie called Gladiator 2. No Gladiator, the Second Coming, a Gladiator, the Sun. Nothing complicated, just two. I'm glad they're getting back to numbers. Starring Denzel Washington, Paul Mescal or Mescal, and Pedro Pascal. First of all, this took more than 16 years to come up with all of a sudden, or just not out of the blue, but it's been talks. It took more than 16 years, which is the span of time between the first storyline and the second storyline in the movie, when it should be more than that. And so I have to discuss passing the torch. Does it work? Because we know it's the father and we know it's the son type thing going on here, right? And I would include entries like James Bond, but that's going to take too long to do. And that's going to get into a discussion of who's the best Bond.
James Bond.
And we're just not going to do that right now. We're just not going to do that right now, okay? I'm not getting into it. The arguments could get brutal. All right. So the first example I've got to bring to the table is Creed. Yes, Creed 1, 2, and 3, which were all great movies, in my opinion. 3 being kind of, but you know, that's besides the point here. All right. The point is that Rocky was the first one to come out with his series. And then, you know, he passed the torch down to Creed, to Adonis Creed, right? And so we're asking ourselves this: did Creed do a good job? Did he do a better job? Or did he do a horrible job? And the answer to that is he did a great job. He did a outstanding job as his own character. I'm not going to sit here, and I can't compare and say, oh, it's better than Rocky, because no, that's not the case. That's not the case. It's its own storyline or saga within itself, obviously. Okay, he just didn't, take the mantle, and he doesn't have his own personality or things going on. So I kind of can say that in this instant, Creed was a good example of passing the torch, and that it can work. It can work, most definitely. My second example is going to be this: Planet of the Apes. Now, yes, I not too long ago did a review on this, and I can't remember what I gave this review. I don't know what I gave it, man. But judging from so many other examples of Planet of the Apes being remade and redone and all this, and then we have this new one that just came up and rose up. It came out of nowhere. We're going off of Caesar handing the torch to, is it Cornelius or Corneus or something with corn in it? Something like that, right?
It's Noah.
Not even his son. That's not even Caesar's blood son. It's just some other guy who's now taking the reins. And honestly, we'd have to wait until that entire trilogy is complete to say if he's going to do a good job and hold up the fort strong like Caesar was doing. Or is he going to be better than Caesar? I can already see he's not, because he didn't have to struggle like Caesar. There's no struggle. Caesar struggled. to get to where he got. He had to fight. And he's got to fight too, but it's not the same. So we're going to have to see where that goes. There's not enough evidence to tell us that it's better or it's worse than where it came from. All right? Another example I'm going to bring up. Anything with Jim Carrey in it. This is the reason that they say Jim Carrey doesn't do a lot of sequels to his movies. All right. I think the only one that Jim Carrey actually popped up in for a sequel was Dumb and Dumberer. Right? They did it was a prequel or something like that. And then I think he did a part 2 as well. I want to say I can't be mistaken, or I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but I think he did a part 2 as well. Either way, none of those worked. None of those were as good as the original Dumb and Dumber. And then there's Mask 2, which was crap. Jim Carrey didn't even show up for that one. And then there was also Pet Detective 2, which I didn't even watch. I had no idea it existed until like a while back. None of these worked. So there's a reason that it's not well known for Jim Carrey to do sequels. Pet Detective 2, now that was a gem. That was something that's rare. I can say that Pet Detective 2 was well worth it. And it's the only time that a Jim Carrey sequel was needed. Or we didn't know that we needed that. Other than that, no, he doesn't take that risk too many times. And there's a reason for it. So as far as passing the torch, it just doesn't work for Jim Carrey in particular. The other guy, I forgot his name, Jamie, whatever his name is. Jamie didn't do a good job, and the little kid obviously did not do a great job with that. All right. My last example of passing the torch. American Psycho 2. Now, yes, a lot of people forgot about this disaster, this debacle, but I didn't forget. You have Mila Kunis from That 70s Show playing the killer in American Psycho. You seriously did this. You seriously thought this was going to be a good idea. Coming off of what Christian Bale did, the masterpiece that he created, you decided that Mila Kunis was going to bring it on home as the daughter of this killer, right? I think she's the daughter. I forgot. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie, but I believe she was the daughter. And that was horrible. Horrible. A waste of time. You never mess with a classic. Passing the torch on a movie like that,
to return some videotapes.
Not even necessary. There was no need to even continue this and make a series out of this if you were trying to do that. And so what we've learned here is that if you're going to pass that torch, just give that next one their own storyline, their own personality, their own thing to do. Don't make them try to be a clone of the person they just took the torch from. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. All right. And my question is also, with Gladiator 2, is this going to be a standalone like Creed was? We're about to find out. Let's go. Gladiator 2, for those who don't know, for those who are not aware, if you're trying to sit here and tell me that you didn't see the trailers with the hip hop music in it a few times before they took it down conveniently, after realizing the mistake they made already,
Xerxes will enjoy making you
then you need to be penalized, because I know you heard about it. Everyone heard about that. It was the trailer heard across the world as embarrassment, secondhand embarrassment. Almost cost the movie viewers. I can imagine if they had kept that trailer with the same music. Don't play me. Don't play me. Gladiator 2. Pretty much, do I even need to say it? Yes, I'm going to say it because that's what I do. Coming off of Gladiator 1 back off in 2000. For some reason, I thought that came out earlier than that, but it did not. All right, and so yes, the first guy was Maximus, and now within the movie storyline, 16 years later, his son Lucius is now the main character of the storyline. Coming, he has his own little crew and everything. He's with his wife, and then there's an army he has backing him up, and so the movie begins with him getting to a whole battle with Pedro Pascal's character and his army. So they're coming to battle and defeat these guys. And they thwart these guys. They thwart them. They defeat them. And someone takes a fall. I'm not going to say who it is. I don't want to spoil too much. But someone that Lucius cares about takes a fall. All right. It hurts them very bad. They're all captured, put on a ship, brought over to Rome. I'm assuming that was Rome. And they are made to fight as gladiators in the arena, of course. Now, while all this is going on, the whole time Lucius has this mindset to get revenge on the guy who led that revolt, or not revolt, but led that attack. And of course, that is Pedro Pascal's character, right? So he could think of nothing but that. While he's thinking of nothing but that, he sees that the guy running the gladiators and pushing them off like little pets and dogs and animals is the character played by Denzel Washington, Macrinus. And Macrinus has a whole nother game plan going on in his head that he's ready to use. Okay, at any time. All right? And he's trying to use Lucius as his little main slave boy, which is a weird thing given the situation of what Denzel is. But anyways, knowing this, there's a whole nother rebel going on against the two twin kings with their situation. All right, and they have no idea what's going on. Neither does Lucius. He doesn't know either. All he can think about is revenge. He's not worried about that. So there's going to be a whole clash going on with the rebel and his revenge. And we have to see how this is going to end out. And that's pretty much the plot to the movie. All right? Positives. The fights were so damn crazy good, man. Crazy good. There was the monkey fight, the baboon fight. The baboons came out. They had to fight the baboons. This man bit a baboon on the arm. Did not care if he was going to get a disease or anything like that. And I'm surprised he did not get a disease throughout the movie. But he bit the baboon on the damn arm, man. That was insane. It had me wondering, what did the other ones do to really defeat these baboons if they didn't bite or play the baboons at their own game? They had chains. Yeah, okay. You can only do so much with chains, but they all just were swinging their chains around like, at some point, something was going to happen with those chains. I don't know, but him, it was focused on him biting a monkey. Anyways, not only that part, they had a part where a rhino came in and a guy was riding the rhino like a horse. And that was so damn cool. That was cool as hell. That this the CGI. I know that there was CGI using it, but it didn't matter because it was decent CGI for the rhino. And the rhino came in there and he bludgeoned a few people like he was supposed to do. All right, they used him to their best ability in the movie. All the fights had animals involved, pretty much. Almost every fight. There's one that did, and it didn't need to do that. I'll talk about that later on. But for the most parts, those fights were so creative and interesting to watch, and they just drew me in, and I like those battles. It's just like the battles in part one. Just a little different swag added on to it. Okay? Another positive. Lucius being motivated by anger was well warranted. All right, it was justified in my opinion. You know, your loved one dies by the hands of this guy that you have no idea who this really is. You just know he came in and he attacked your people. He's ready to battle your people, and because of him, that person that you love is now gone. All right, and you are taken from your land with your people, and you are brought to this other place to fight for them. And some entertainment going on here. Okay. And so, yes, though, I understand the entire time all he could think about is get back. And also at the same time, the people that he's under, a lot of people are so corrupt and just nasty, disgusting people. I'm not even going to get into that because I don't want to offend people, but there's some crap going on there. There's some nasty crap going on with some of these characters. It's horrible. And it's historically accurate on that part because Rome did a lot of wild stuff, man. There's a movie called Caligula. Bro, what the hell?
I'm gonna be sick.
Man. Another positive. The humor in the monkey having a higher rank than Macrinus just set in well with me. I'm sorry if my other melanin people get offended by me saying this, but yes, this is something you should expect. We are the darker skin. No matter what the character is in the movie, they still showed you that this character is that by using that. Like the guy, one of the twins went crazy. I'm not going to say too much. One of the twins went crazy, and he appointed his pet monkey as a assistant or whatever #1, and then Macrinus was assistant #2. Damn. Under a monkey. You couldn't be #1. You had to be #2 behind a monkey. And you can say, oh, that's because the man is crazy. No. There's a reason that the movie did that. To let you know. Even though Denzel's character is doing all this stuff that he really shouldn't even be doing because of, his skin color in that time. He's doing that so that it's not all accurate stuff. I understand. But at the same time, they put a little bit of realism in there. Like, hey man, you still know what you are because look what just happened. This monkey is ahead of you in the council of crazy man here. Coincidence? I don't think so. Negatives. The acting is horrible. Not by everybody. Not everyone that is giving this an injustice, but I'll say the twins and Denzel's character in particular just did not. And there are more. There are more behind this. These are just the two in the forefront that I couldn't help but notice that were just not bringing their A game when it came to acting. The twins, they could have been a lot more fearsome of a duo if they had just had good actors, man. Every time they came on, it was like a parody. It was like a comedy. I thought, am I supposed to laugh at this? These two bumbling idiots, were they purposely written like that to where they had bad dialogue the entire time, and that's how they were supposed to? No, I don't, because no, there was one point where one of the twins was going crazy and went off, and I was waiting for the laugh track. just from the reaction of Pedro Pascal, who is a good actor, even though I don't like him as a person in real life. He's a little annoying, but as an actor, decent actor. And he kept a straight face the entire time, man. Like he wanted to laugh. I felt the vibe of laughter coming out, but he kept that on lock, just to the reaction of the twin and what he did. And then there's Denzel. Now, on top of this, Denzel, just as this character, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. When you know more about the character, Macrinus, Denzel shouldn't have played that role. And I'm not saying just because he's black. I'm also saying because, I'm not saying that at all, really. I'm saying if you're going to pick another black actor, it could have been the right one. I could see, not Taye Diggs. That would have definitely not brought people to the theater. But if Taye Diggs had a better career, he could have done it. Or some other black actors that could have done a better job at this. I'm just being real and being honest with you. Okay? There are other black actors that are the better fit for the role of Macrinus. Just Denzel was not doing it for me, man. No. He couldn't even, he was struggling with that old time Rome persona. The New York wanted to come out of him so bad. Let's put it like that. He wanted to say yo and son so bad. Another negative. Weak plot. This had a weak ass plot, man. There were times when it just dragged, and there were unnecessary scenes added in the film of just dialogue that had nothing to do with anything at all. I got bored and my attention started to stray from the movie. Like, what is this? What I'm watching? This is 2 hours and something. It shouldn't even be that long, given what you're showing me right now. Just get to the fights, or get to the betrayal, or scenes that help the plot, the actual scheme of things, not this extra stuff that I don't need to be watching. Do away with that, please. There's a lot of that going on in this movie, which makes me look at the part one like definitely this cannot, no, it's not going to compare when it comes to that plot, man. Okay, not at all. Last negative. Like I said earlier, the battles, the arena fights, all perfect. But when it had sharks and a boat fight in the middle of an arena, that's when I checked out. Man. I was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not seriously doing this. So y'all had time to build, I don't know, enough space for water to be put in the arena to have boats floating around so you can fight within the arena. And then they had sharks. In the arena. Or did you go to another arena where they already had this going on? I don't understand what happened. This whole thing turned into, I don't know, a video game. This I don't know if a 5-year-old wrote this or AI.
No, like baby.
But with that, I have to say, I'm giving this an I. Yes, just an I. All right. I enjoyed the action, but everything else besides that was so shaky and iffy. It almost hurt. It almost hurt, man. Press that like button, share, and you better subscribe.